Moving up the record files train, we've got the Engineer next. The Engineer is a particularly interesting unit with a ton of information to go through. But anyway, let's get into record files, the Engineer. In order to unlock the Engineer, you either need to become level 60 and purchase them with a crapload of gems of 4,500, or you could just, purchase the expensive pass as well.
Bro, say psych right now, dude.
So to summarize this part, it's going to be a sentry until you can unlock her. Placing her down, she has one decently huge attack range, which is the gray one, and an orange area, which is where she can place her things down, which we'll talk about in a moment, and the red area is just the part where she cannot attack for whatever reason. Once placed down, she has a little bit of damage and also an orange bar like the accelerators. However, unlike the accelerators, she has to fill up that bar. She fills it up slowly at first with her weapon as it deals damage to enemies. Once the bar is filled up completely, she will immediately place down the turret down somewhere in the orange area zone she has. Once placed down, the turret has 1 damage per second or whatever and targets enemies with a relatively competent rate of fire. Also, this turret has a way bigger range than the Engineer. The turret doesn't stay there forever as it has a health bar that gradually goes down over time, and once destroyed, the Engineer will just place another turret down after the first one is gone if the bar or whatever is filled up. No, she can only place down 1 turret at a time, well, for now at least. At level 1, the Engineer gets her damage increased by 2 hit points, a bigger range. It's the best that you can level her up to level 1 as soon as possible for her, to do more damage with the cheaper price. Level 2 offers bigger range, decreasing the not attack zone, and unlocks both hidden and flying detection. Next up, we've got level 3. I'm just gonna go over to the interesting parts, which is a turret upgrade called the Rifle Sentry, which just boosts the turret rate of fire, damage, and whatever. Level 4 just increases the Engineer's damage by 6 hit points, rate of fire, and a bigger range. But the best part about this level is a new upgrade to the turret's a shield. This shield is for the bosses and does not slam and waste dying thing. The shield just, protects it from being destroyed only once, I believe. Maybe it does regenerate, I don't know. But also at this level, the Engineer can now legally place down another turret, which is essentially 2 turrets at max she can have at once. At level 5, the Engineer unlocks another upgrade for her sentry turrets, a minigun sentry. This upgrade boosts the turret's damage hit points to 5, increasing its rate of fire exponentially, bigger range, and increases the turret's health, but also increasing the turret's time to 45 seconds, and giving us another turn to have, so 3. Now finally to level 6. To spare your brain cells, let's just talk about the most important parts. Engineer does 15 more damage, hit points, whatever, increased rate of fire for both her and her turrets, and a new upgrade for her sentry turrets, the War Machine Sentry. This upgrade gives more damage, faster rate of fire, and it can now shoot 4 rockets. After that entire mouthful, let's go ahead and talk about the other. With all these upgrades and buffs to herself and her sentry turrets, she can do a ton of damage with her turrets. But that's just one Engineer. Having all the Engineers not maxed, but together can still do a lot of damage. Not as immense as maxed out, but do an acceptable amount. You see, the Engineer isn't the spotlight for DPS, it's her turrets. Sure, they can do 50 damage per shot with their spear-looking weapon, but her turrets having incredibly fast rate of fire with rockets and a big range with, all 4 of them just demolish enemies. With all 24 turrets on the field, they will just annihilate enemies. And the Engineer immediately placing down another turret after the first one or few have been destroyed, mixed with a long time for them to be destroyed, and with the shield, just makes these puppies incredibly great. Now that we're done with that, let's talk about tips. Number 1, getting her to level 1 is a must for more damage and a bigger radius, plus it's very cheap at $250. Number 2, try avoiding placing her too close to path since that red radius stops her from shooting, so yeah, she should be close to the path, however not too close to not be stunned by enemy attacks and want to place down more turrets. Number 3, placing all 6 of them down without any of them being maxed is fine, since with all their DPS from both herself and turrets will just do great. And that's about it. Now to my overall thoughts. The Engineer is a great tower, however is incredibly unpopularly picked, and the reason for that is mainly because she's just a shadow of the Accelerator. The Accelerator is widely known as the best tower in the game and well is way cheaper than her. With a ton of more damage and a fucking laser to disintegrate enemies, he essentially is way better than her. But also not only that, but the Engineer needs more requirements than him. You need to be level 60 to unlock her, 4,500 flipping gems, which is essentially 2,000 more, and well, she isn't stronger. In my opinion, this is some BS, because when you see the prices of both the Accelerator and the Engineer, many people would just assume the Engineer is way stronger than him because she requires more than the Accelerator, but when they unlock and use her, they quickly realize they've been lied to. And also her bio just says Sentry coming up. That's it. Why not the first part and then places a sentry turret to help on the battlefield with low damage but over time becomes stronger or something like that, The bio is just really clear on what she does with, a turret, but not really about how much these turrets do or how much they are needed or what else she can do. To me, the Engineer mainly needs fixes with her price. Why are you making us pay double the price of the Accelerator for a character who is just not as powerful for him? Why not make her a bit cheaper than him, like, I don't know, 2,300 gems or 2,250, but nowhere lower than 2,000? And then update her bio, and if that's done, it wouldn't change the fact that she's less than the Accelerator, but at least she would be more popular when, not as outrageous of a price for someone who does far less than the king himself. But I gotta say, the Engineer is a really good tower for DPS, and when she's stunned and cannot fire, her turrets continue to fight, which is great because if they didn't have that shield, she would be a lot worse. But like I said, she's a very good tower. However, her issues that prevent her from being picked as much as the Accelerator from a long shot.